Sometimes a book just grabs you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's speaking directly to something inside you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt when I first read From Fear to Faith.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this whole idea of fear, not as something to avoid, but as this like springboard to something bigger.
Right.
I don't know. It's powerful stuff.
It really is. And, even though it's coming from a Christian perspective, the core message, it feels surprisingly universal.
That's what I thought. Like fear, transformation, finding your purpose. That resonates with everyone, right?
Absolutely. It's about those fundamental human experiences that connect us all.
Totally. Okay, so for this deep dive, we're jumping into part 3 of From Fear to Faith. And just to catch everyone up, it's like we're joining a conversation that's already in full swing.
I see what you mean.
Like parts 1 and 2, they were all about laying the groundwork, setting the stage, doubt, challenges, those moments when faith gets shaky. We've all been there, right?
Yeah, we dove into how those moments, the ones that make us want to retreat and hide, those are the very moments that can lead to the most growth.
Exactly. So part 3 takes that idea that fear can be this catalyst for transformation, and it really digs in. We've got Jonah and the whale, Jesus calming the storm stories that, let's be honest, I always thought I knew.
Oh, I know those stories.
But looking at them through this lens of facing your fears head on to find that deeper connection, I'm curious to see where this goes.
Me too. There's always something new to discover in these stories, even the ones we think we know by heart.
So let's dive in, shall we? Jonah, big fish, right? That's what I always think of.
Classic image.
But reading it this time, it's about so much more than just a guy and a whale. It's like Jonah's freaking out, and I get it. He's supposed to go to Nineveh,
Yeah.
this powerful empire, and tell them to change their ways. I'd be terrified.
Yeah, that's the thing about Jonah's story. It really gets into the nitty-gritty of human fear and doubt, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not just some abstract concept. It's like raw emotion right there on the page.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so relatable, even thousands of years later. Because who hasn't felt that urge to run in the opposite direction when faced with something scary? We've all been there.
It's like I can just picture him on that ship sailing away as fast as he can. Talk about burying your head in the sand.
Oh, totally. And what's interesting? The text actually gives us a glimpse into why Jonah might have been so resistant.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that from the kids' version.
Right. So Nineveh, they were like the big dogs back then. Powerful empire, brutal reputation.
Okay, so not exactly a welcoming audience for a prophet with a message
Yeah.
of repentance.
Exactly. And on top of that, there's this idea that if Nineveh actually listened to Jonah, if they actually changed their ways,
Yeah.
well, that could have turned everything upside down. The balance of power, the whole shebang.
Whoa! I never thought about it like that. So it's not just about Jonah disobeying God. It's like he's caught in the middle of something huge.
Exactly. And that brings us to the belly of the fish, right?
Oh, yeah, the big event.
And what's so cool is that the text doesn't just gloss over it, like, oh, he got swallowed, the end. It really zooms in on that experience, the darkness, the isolation.
Claustrophobia city right there.
Right. And not just physical confinement, but this sense of being totally alone with himself, with his thoughts, his
I
fears.
can't even imagine. 3 days.
The text actually quotes from the prayer Jonah prays while he's trapped in there, and it's intense. He talks about seaweed being wrapped around his head, the water closing in.
Wow. Yeah, this isn't a cartoon anymore. This is serious.
Totally. And there are a lot of interpretations of what this whole fish thing means, but the text is clear on one point. It wasn't punishment. It was about stripping Jonah bare, breaking down all his defenses so he could finally hear what God was really calling him to do.
So it's like that extreme situation, as horrible as it was, it forced him to surrender, to let go of his own plans and really listen.
Exactly. And the really beautiful thing is, Jonah's transformation, his willingness to finally say yes, it didn't just impact him, it literally saved Nineveh.
Right. Because he finally goes through that. He goes to Nineveh, preaches repentance,
Yeah.
and they listen.
They do. And the text is very clear that it's because Jonah finally confronted his own stuff, faced his fear, that Nineveh was spared.
Wow. Okay, now I'm really seeing this idea of interconnectedness that we talked about earlier. Like our own internal battles, our choices, they can have a ripple effect way beyond what we realize.
Absolutely. That's the whole point. We're all connected, and our choices, for better or worse, they impact the world around us.
Okay, so we've got Jonah and his reluctance to step up, but then you have Jesus calming the storm. It's like total opposites, right?
And yet, there's this really interesting parallel there, too, because the storm, it wasn't just about the wind and the waves. It was about the disciples' fear, their doubt. Just like Jonah, they were caught in their own internal storm.
Totally. They're freaking out, and Jesus is just asleep. How can you sleep through that?
Right. It speaks to a level of inner peace that, honestly, I can't even wrap my head around.
For real.
Yeah.
But then he wakes up, says a few words, and boom, calm. Just like that. It's amazing. It's like you see that, and you're like, okay, faith can move mountains, literally. But then there's that part right after where the disciples are scared again. I don't know, it's kind of reassuring in a weird
Oh,
way.
absolutely. It shows that they were human, you know? They weren't just instantly enlightened after that one miracle. They were still learning, still figuring things out, just like us.
Exactly. And isn't that the whole point? That faith is a journey, not a destination. It's like those storms, they're going to keep coming, both literally and figuratively.
Right. Life throws curveballs. But it's about finding that inner stillness, that trust, even when everything around us feels chaotic. And that takes practice.
And that brings us back to this whole idea of practical application, right?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to talk about faith in the abstract, but how do we actually live it day in and day out?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where I think the text gets really interesting because it gives us some really concrete, practical advice.
Oh, yeah, I love this part. It's like, okay, no more vague platitudes. Just tell me what to do.
Exactly. And the first thing it talks about is this idea of practicing obedience in the small things.
Okay, I have to admit, when I first heard that, I was like, obedience? That sounds kind of rule following, right?
I know, right? But the text uses this great analogy of a gardener. Think about it of a gardener. They don't just like dump a bunch of seeds in the ground and hope for the best. They tend to each plant every day consistently, even when it seems like nothing's happening.
It's about those small, consistent actions over time that lead to growth.
Exactly. And it's the same with faith. It's not about some grand gesture. It's about those little choices we make every day, like choosing honesty even when it's hard, or showing up for someone even when we're tired.
So it's like each small act of obedience is like a deposit in this trust account. You're building that muscle, that inner strength.
Exactly. And the more we do it, the stronger that muscle gets, and the easier it becomes to face those bigger challenges when they inevitably come along. Which is a great transition to the next point, because then the text talks about reflecting on past faithfulness.
I love that because it's so easy to focus on the times we messed up, the times we gave in to fear, right? But taking that time to really remember those moments when we did choose courage, when our actions lined up with our values.
It's huge because it reminds us that we have that capacity within us. It's like building evidence for our own resilience.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last thing. I know this one can be a little tricky sometimes. Community.
Ah, yeah, that accountability.
I know, right? Sometimes you just want to curl up in your little cave
Yeah,
and figure it all out on your own.
totally. But the text makes this really interesting point. It says something like, iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another.
Okay, I like that. It's like we need that friction, that support to really grow.
Exactly. And sometimes that means letting other people in, you know? Being vulnerable, sharing our struggles, celebrating our wins.
It's about finding your people, the ones who get it, the ones you can be real with. I don't know about you, but this deep dive has been
Yeah.
a lot in a good way. It's like these stories, they're not just stories, they're like roadmaps.
Totally. And they remind us that the capacity for faith, for courage, for transformation, it's not something out there. It's already within us. And we have the power to choose it every single day.
So good. It
Yeah.
makes you want to take a deep breath and face
Right.
whatever's next.
Absolutely. And you know, if any of this resonated with you, if you found yourself nodding along or feeling that spark of recognition, I really encourage you to check out From Fear to Faith. Who knows? It might just become your new favorite roadmap.
And there you have it. From fear to faith. From ancient stories to everyday courage. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.